Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I'd like to apologise for my absence. I've been really busy these last few weeks, so I've not had a chance to get out and do some more videos as much as I'd love to. Lots of things going on. I've turned 40, believe it or not, which is, well, I suppose you can probably tell that. So yeah, no, I've had a 40th. I've got some great gifts for that from some of my teammates. From the podcast and through my AIRSOFT teams and things like that, so I really appreciate the gifts I've got. I'll be doing a video on that at a later date. Yeah, just been really busy with work and stuff like that, so first and foremost I do apologise for not doing this video sooner. I've been meaning to. I've got a little schedule at home of things I want to do, and obviously this is the sort of like the last in sort of the series of the kit, if you like, before we go out into like actually sort of like setting up like basher setups and things like that, and some overnighters. So this is sort of like the last in the series of like the kit and things I've got, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so just obviously welcome back. Thanks for watching. I do really appreciate it. Just a huge thank you for all the comments and the views of all the previous videos that I've done, of obviously the Bergen, the webbing set, and like the Dutch tent, the British Army bivvy bag, which I modified myself. It's had a really good receive. It's really good feedback and stuff like that. So it's been really good to talk to you guys and get your comments and get your feedback and ideas and things that you do with your kit. So that's part of the reason I do this. I love interacting with people and getting their ideas and stealing their good ideas, if you like, for my kit and for my own gains. So yeah, no, it's all good. I love sharing conversations and stuff like that. It's really good. So yeah, so enough of all that. What we're doing today is we're going to go into sort of like your setup options, if you want, your loadout options, quite broadly with the stuff I've got here. So obviously we're going to be covering the sort of like the webbing set, chest rigs, plate carriers, shooters belts, assault packs, sort of things that I'd have on me going out into the field for a MISLIM game or an AIRSOFT game, and sort of like how I use them and sort of what situations or what events that I'd sort of choose these sorts of bits of kit for. Now obviously you can get them in different colours and different orientations, and you can set it all up very personally to you, especially with like the MOLLE systems and things like that. You can put what you want wherever you want. That's the beauty of MOLLE systems. I think is really good. So yeah, so right guys, so first and foremost, let's start obviously with sort of like the waistband setup, if you like. So I've got a couple of options here. This is my first shooter's belt, so it's a Warrior Assault Systems Desert Tan MOLLE platform. I picked this up at a boot sale, believe it or not, for £5. It's a gleaming bit of kit. It's so comfortable, nice and padded, sits really well. So this was like my first shooters, like my first sort of like saute into using a shooter's belt. And on that, what I've got is I've got two. Hello. Do you want another stick? Go. Sorry about that. So what I've got here is I've got two pistol mag pouches on there. I believe these are a Viper elasticated setup. Absolutely nothing wrong with them at all. I think they're really good, really retain the magazines really well. I was actually gifted these by a good friend of mine, so I'm very grateful to that. Along from that, I've got one 5.56 pouch holder for a 5.56 mag, and then I've got a British Army issue, I think the British Army issue, dump pouch, for obvious reasons. Not only for mags and that though, but for anything else, you need to grab it on a quick, chuck a water bottle in there, you can do anything you like. That's the beauty of a dump pouch. It's literally a bit of an all-rounder. So I've got that on there, and on the back here I've got a British Army issue first aid kit pouch, if you like. The kit's not in there because it's in my webbing, and the reason I've got this, which you'll see further down the line, is I've also got the same pouch on my other shooter's belt, because it's the same size as the utility pouch on my webbing, so I can keep my first aid kit exactly the same. I haven't got to have I don't know if you can get like tiny little IFAC pouches that go on shooters belts, but the kit I've got is the kit I've got, and it's bigger than what goes in the little IFAC pouch. So I thought, right, okay, so I've got the kit that can go in this pouch, I've got the same size kit that can go in my webbing, and I've got the same size kit that can go in my other shooter's belt, and also in my chest rig as well, which we'll cover. Going around from that, I've got a trauma bandage and a tourniquet, which I've sort of slightly modified, so it's not like you can use it properly. You can pull the tension up on the Velcro, but the actual bar itself's tied down, just for sort of safety purposes really, because obviously it is for simulation, just to show that I've been injured and I've been medic back in with a tourniquet like that. It's got a very low profile harness on it, and I can't remember where I got it from. I think it might be a Caramore, but I will have to check that. And basically I've got this very low profile harness on there for so it can go underneath my plate carrier or chest rig, and that just sits on there nicely. That's a little bit tangled up. Let's have a little look here. What on earth is going on with this harness? What the blooming hell's going on here? There we go. Right, so there we go. There is the low profile harness there. So you see it's nice and thin. It's not padded. It doesn't need to be padded on the shoulder straps, I don't believe, because I'm not carrying a great deal of weight in that. So, you know, that doesn't really cut into me. So yeah, that is basically my first shooter's belt, which I do still use, you know. One other thing I want to note on there, obviously I've got my Kydex Customs WE45 high capper pistol holster, and that is on an OD green Caramore SF drop leg panel. And what I've done is I've slightly modified this again so I can use this setup on my other shooter's belt and also on my webbing set. And that is basically a Osprey cummerband retention strap setup, so you can get the T-bar, 2 T-bars, male and female, and I've threaded that through the molly on the belt, and then I've got this on the drop leg panel, and that can just click on to that setup. And then obviously if I want to use it on something else, I can just unclick that and click it onto my next setup, and I've always got that with me. So that is my go-to now. I'm finally comfortable with having my pistol on my upper thigh as opposed to having it. I've tried it on my chest, I've tried it on the other side, I've tried it that way, I've tried it this way, I've tried it back of my head. You know, I'm happy with where it is now, so that's all good. So yes, that's this was my first shooter's belt setup. And what I'll do is I'll show you my second one now, which is just here. And again, I love my Warrior kit. This is another Warrior Assault Systems setup. Obviously, it's got the internal Velcro hook and loop belt, which will be threaded through your combat trousers. And then obviously this one will sit over the top. So that's through the trouser. And then you've got Velcro, the hook on the inside of that, which will go round and fasten up. Now again, on this, similar setup. What I've got here is I've got 2 9mm mag pouches on the front there. This is the actual White Sphere Tactical dual pistol mag and the 5.56 Kydex inserted with the dump pouch as well. And what they've done, which is I think is really, really clever, is the 5.56 is actually inside the top of the dump pouch there, so it keeps the profile quite small rather than having 3 mag pouches and then a dump pouch sort of taking up a bit more real estate on the belt. The actual dump pouch, the 5.56, sits inside the dump pouch there, which doesn't compromise how much you can get in there either. You know, it's a great size dump pouch. It's a really well made bit of kit. And if you do look at White Sphere Tactical, we do have a discount code with our podcast, November Foxtrot, which I believe is NOFO10. So yeah, I can't recommend their kit enough. It's really, really good gear. Obviously, this is not a paid advert for White Sphere Tactical. I'm genuinely very impressed with it. I bought it. It's all with all my own money. Yeah, and it's just a blooming good bit of kit. So yeah, a lot of love for those guys and what they're doing. So yeah, that's that. Empty, no need. This is the first aid pouch again, exactly the same as the other one. This is a Condor large utility pouch. I believe it was for a first aid kit, but it's got some lube and stuff like that, some elastication, some retention stuff in there. But again, my rip away internal for my first aid kit, you just slap in there, zip it up. Happy days, easy to get to. Do you know what I mean? It's nice and big. I know exactly where it is. It's on the same position. So when I've got that on, my first aid kit is there on my webbing, it's there on this shooter's belt, and it's there on my other shooter's belt. The only time my first aid kit changes position is when I'm wearing a chest rig, and that goes on my right side, just here, where you get the large sort of storage pouch. Along from that, I've got another little storage pouch, and what I have in here again is a tourniquet and a trauma bandage, and that goes in there. I can fit a couple of other little bits and bobs if I want to. And then I've got my holster for my WE45. This is a Warrior retention holster. And then I've got a small compass pouch on the front there for any bits and bobs I might need. I can put a little utility tool, lock knife, whatever I need to do. So basically that's the 2 shooters belts which I've got. So let's just pop that back in there. There we go. So yeah, that's the 2 shooters belts. Moving on from that, this is probably one of my favourite bits of kit. Actually, actually, well, it all is, but this is the Warrior Assault Systems 901 Elite chest rig. Absolutely blinding. I love this. It's so comfortable, nice and padded on the inside there. Lovely padded shoulder straps, retention straps. Very minimal. You can actually make this into a plate carrier if you like. So inside there you've got a panel. So these simply unpop, and then you've got another molly which comes up, and that will then hook and loop around your straps, and then all of a sudden, magic, you've got a plate carrier. So you've got some more real estate there for an admin panel or whatever it is you might want to run. You can run a plate in there as well. So yeah, it's a very, very versatile bit of kit. This I use a lot for urban events, sort of like a lot of vehicle-borne stuff, because obviously that's where really the chest rig was sort of born from. I believe sort of like from the British Army point of view, it was more of a Northern Ireland thing, where they're cutting about in snatches all day long, running belt kit. They sort of bastardised some kit and made it into chest rigs, and that's where the sort of like the Northern Ireland chest rig was born, which is sort of sought after today. A cracking little bit of kit, and chest rigs now very much follow the same sort of suit and setup. You've got your mag pouches to your front. You might have a little admin panel behind, and then 2 large utility pouches on the side here. Look at poor admin by me not doing my buckles up. So yeah, this is the Warrior chest rig. It's got capabilities of holding 6 5.56 mag pouches. Got a cheeky little Mora knife mounted underneath there. Again, if an event's not happy with me running this, I can remove it and just leave the case on there and store that away in my kit pack, in my car or whatnot. On the side here, what I've got is this is my comms pouch, which was made by Mission Tailors. So I believe this is like the only one in existence. And the reason I've got this is it's for transitioning comms from my day sack, my chest rig, or running it on my plate carrier. I am going to be getting another one of these panels made up, which I'll show you. So basically what it is, this will hold 2 Boafang UV5R 9R Pro 1s radio sets with additional cabling, any coaxial cables that are running there. It's got loops on the side there for holding antennas and holding cables tight. It's got little access ports down the side there. And obviously I can just zip all that up, and I've got my 2 comms there. Now the reason I wanted it to be, obviously it's got access ports at the top there for aerials or antennas or cables or relocation cables, whatever you want to do. The reason I've got this obviously is I didn't have any sort of radio pouch type setup for a chest rig. I always struggled with that, and sometimes that really leaves my back. So if I wanted to run this, so I could literally, I'll have a couple of retention clips for the antennas or the radio aerial that I've got on my side there. So I can literally just unclip them, and then I can remove the whole setup. So that's all my comm setup in that one pouch. And then I can literally, if I show you my assault pack quickly, I can literally just unclip that. I've got a blanking plate there, and I can just slap my comms onto my day sack. Again, run a fist mic, and then I've got my comms. I can run antennas there and retain them on the side of the bag here if I need to. Like I said, I am going to get another 1 or 2 of these Velcro panels made up, just so I can fit one to my chest rig, to my plate carrier, and maybe even perhaps one on my webbing set, just so it keeps it all uniformed. But yeah, I love it. It's a great addition to my kit and how I like to play the MISLIM events, things like that, especially with my comm setup. I like to keep it all contained in sort of like one pouch, if you like, as much as possible. So that was the idea and the thinking behind that. And again, obviously Mission Tailors, I can't fault his craftsmanship. This has been dragged through the dirt, the mud, and it's just, there's not one frayed bit of stitching on there. Dual zips, super strong, nice Kydex insert, a little bit of wiggle room in there for my radios and other bits of storage. They are big enough actually to hold 2 5.56 mags as well, so I can get 4 mags in there and use it as a mag pouch if I wanted to, which is, again, it's the right added bonus. But yeah, just great craftsmanship. So yeah, Mission Tailors, massive shout out to you, buddy. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit him up on Instagram. And that's that. So that's my comm setup on my chest rig. And then beneath that, I've got another dump pouch. Always run a dump pouch. They're so handy for anything, any bits of kit. And that's the same one that's on my first shooter's belt. So it's a British Army issue. Dump pouch, just quick deploying. Hello again. Do you want another stick? Right, you ready? Go. Away, beast. Go on, away. Go. There's another shot of Flynn. Did get some complaints that people don't see my dog enough, so that's twice you've seen him now. So yeah, there's a British Army dump pouch on the side there. And that is basically it. It's a very, very simple setup. a cracking bit of kit. But yeah, that's the Warrior Assault Systems 901 chest rig. Don't quote me on that, that might not be the right name for it, I'm sure it is, 901 chest rig. So that is that. Now moving on again, I'll just jump into this. So this is the Virtus 17 litre assault pack. Probably the best bit of Virtus kit there is out there, bar the helmet. Again, I'm not a serving soldier, I never have served, so I couldn't quite comment on that. But from what I've heard from a few of my mates who are serving, a lot of the Virtus kit, I think it's actually been taken out of service now. But apart from the helmet, and I think this, that's probably the only pretty good bit of kit they've done from the Virtus range. Yeah, I do really like this. It's got plenty of storage on it. You know, it's got a main pack there. There was storage in there for a radio, but I did unpick that and removed it just because I had like huge strapping and stuff like that, which I'm never ever going to use for what I use it for. So I just rather have it as like a big open space that I can just sort out my kit and put bits and bobs in there that I need for like a patrol or, you know, just for a few hours out on the ground. It's such a small pack, you know, it goes straight over on my plate carrier or whatever. You don't miss it. It's nicely padded. You know, it's got good. It's got a chest clip on the front there as well, just to keep it retained to your body. Obviously the zips on there for zipping it onto the Virtus assault vest. I'm not sure if that's any good or not actually. I might have to ask a couple of pals what their thoughts are on that. But yeah, so that can zip straight onto the back of the plate carrier. But you know me, I don't like running stuff like that. I like to be able to remove it. So, you know, if I need to get into this quick, I can just slip it off my shoulders. I've added a couple of Virtus utility pouches to the side just for a bit more real estate. Run a couple of water bottles or a belt or a medic kit or whatever I might need to do. Yeah, it's just a great little bag. Really good bit of kit. Nice and strong, well made. And that is that. Last but not least is my Warrior DCS plate carrier, plate hanger. It's got two 4 kilogram steel plates in there, so it is. So it's running 8 kilos of weight, which I don't really need for airsoft, let's be honest. I doubt the BB is going to penetrate the plate, to be honest. Anyhow, I like it for the physical side of it. I like running the proper weight. Oddly enough, it's actually more comfortable to run it with weight in than it is without, because let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, if you're running a plate carrier all the time, pretty much, all the weight's at the front. And what that will do is, it'll just do that. And that's what will happen all the time. Whereas with the two 4 kilogram weight plates, that sits lovely and level. So the plate on the back and the plate on the front, you can run a ruler, a level across it, and it will be perfect. So actually, although I'm carrying 8 kilos of added weight, it actually sits more comfortable. You know, when you take a knee, it doesn't ride up. You know, you're not in a turtle shell. It's not like stuck up around your ears. It just stays where it stays, and that's what I love about it. Again, a very basic setup on here. I've got a 1 litre Camelback on there. It's not a Camelback, a water bladder if you like. It was only sort of like 25 quid on eBay, but I've had it for years and it's not leaked once, it's not broken. The only reason it's got some sniper tape there on the handle, it's just purely to hold it in place a bit more, because the retention wasn't the greatest. But other than that, it's really good, and it's when it's empty, it's nice and flat, so I can put a backpack over that. Doesn't affect me whatsoever. And obviously then the hydration bladder straw just runs around to the front, and that's just retained on a couple of loops, just so I can get to it. I've got a large utility pouch here, so again, I could run, if I needed to, a med kit or some pyro or any other sort of mission specific items, bit of admin stuff in there as well, maybe notebooks and stuff. On the front, well, let's go to this side here. So what I've got is two internal radio pouches which sit behind the cummerbund, and they're velcroed onto the hook and loop underneath the main ops panel on the front. So I've got one on the right and the left hand side. Obviously dual comms, I'll run 2 radios, so I'll be 1 for 0, sort of like a PMR for your team comms. Obviously if that's not required, I only need to have 1 radio. They're not Kydex inserted, so they're nice and soft. It doesn't matter if I've got nothing in there, it will just sit where it sits. I do need to, what I've done is I've actually used some British Army flash hook and loop panels. Obviously where I was a bit bigger a few months ago, I had to have this sitting out a couple more inches, but where I've lost about 6 inches off my waist now, I need to actually cinch them in again, so I can lose them panels, but I may keep hold of them for after the winter months, if you follow me. So yeah, so that's the 2 radio packs. So that's my sort of like my comm setup for my plate carrier. On the front here, I've got a Warrior Assault Systems large admin panel. Again, I really like this bit of kit. It's really good. It keeps me sort of in the field sort of thing. I've got obviously I can keep my maps and stuff in there. I can access them at any time. I might remove this. I do have a little light in there that's got a I've taped up just so it's got a tiny little bead of light just for night time if I need to access it. It's got a little charging power pack there, and I've got my little O-Light Mini, which is obviously a wicked torch. If you've not got one of these, I highly recommend it. They are brilliant torches. Again, recommended to me by a very good friend of mine in the medical profession, and he said, you know, they are a very handy bit of kit to have. So I've actually got two of them. I've got one in my backpack which comes everywhere with me, and I'll keep one in here, and I'll switch it between my kit. So yeah, that's the main Warrior Assault Systems large admin panel. It's got a nice waterproof map case in there, and the great thing about it is if I'm in a rush and I haven't got time to do the zips up, you can literally throw that up and then put that down, and that's it, until you get somewhere where you can just whip them zips up again. Dual zips, nice and strong. Yeah, super duper. Going down from that, I've got the, again, Mission Tailors, a custom made to my specifications dump pouch. Main storage pocket on the front there. I've got a small mat pocket. It's fully mollied. I've got multicam elasticated loops at the bottom there for a tourniquet or any other equipment I might need to carry there, which is like elasticated retention. And then above that, I've got two pistol mag pouches, or you can run a little utility torch in there, but I predominantly for pistol mags. But you can run like a little lead lens security torch or whatever you want to do in there, or like an O-Light Perrin 2, that'll fit in there nicely. Again, outstanding quality, great build, very happy with that. And again, where the location that's in, you can imagine it gets dragged along when you're crawling about, this, that and the other, and it's just absolutely solid. So yeah, Mission Tailors once again pulled it out of the bag for me. Moving round, this side here is pretty much empty. The reason being is so I can access my shooter's belt, any 5.56 mags down there, 9mm. If I'm running this with my webbing, if I really am going fully loaded, then I can get to my mag pouches, which is on my webbing set, which I'll cover shortly. And that is about it. It's like a very basic setup. I don't have too much on there. I've literally got, sorry, I didn't even mention that. So behind the main admin panel on the front, I have got 3 5.56 inserts, so I can run 3 mags on there, another mag in my shooter's belt, and obviously one in the weapon. So there will be a total of 5 magazines I could run. I probably could squeeze one more in somewhere, so I would have 6 mags on me, plus the 2 pistol mags. So yeah, plenty of ammo for a MILSIM event, I'd say. But yeah, that's basically the Warrior Assault Systems DCS plate carrier. Leave that there. Metal. Right, last but not least, I have covered this in a previous video, so you will be familiar with it. Here's my belt kit, webbing set. This is a bit of a Frankenstein, so it's a British Army issue Molly medium hip belt, just there. And then mounted on that platform, I've got a combination of JJ's of Brecon utility pouches, Warrior Assault Systems utility pouches, and I think they are Osprey from the Para belt kit 5.56 mag pouches. So they hold 3 each. So I've got 3 mags in each of them, so there's 6 mags I can run on there. I mean, if I ran that with my plate carrier, you know, I'm looking at 9 mags, which is more than enough, you know. I won't go too much into this. Like I said, I have covered this in a previous video. Dump pouches, Warrior Assault Systems, Commander's pouch. Is that Warrior or is that JJ's? No, sorry, that's JJ's. The Warrior's on my other kit somewhere. But anyhow, so that is the belt kit. So what we do is, now I've gone through what I've got, we'll come back and we'll go through sort of situations where I would use it and why I would use it. Right guys, okay, so now we're going to start going through some of the kit and sort of events and that, where I'd use it. So sort of like situations or sort of like mission specific sort of type stuff. So starting off with me Warrior Assault Systems shooter's belt, which I've got on now. So again, this is sort of limited. If I'm running a shooter's belt, I then wouldn't be able to run my webbing. However, I can run sort of like, I could run my plate carrier with it. So we can just chop that on quickly now. Ditch them sunglasses. So again, this sort of arrangement I would use. I have got the quick retention clips, which is by Immersion Gear. So it stays on the old Velcro, literally slides in, clicks into place. So I can run this. I would technically run this more for urban events, almost like your Longmoors, or I'm not been to Catterick for an event, so would love to go. But yeah, definitely an urban event, sort of like fibula, buildings, stuff like that. And obviously in conjunction with that, I'll be running a lid as well, just because it's in buildings, you know, low level beams, and just getting banged in the head with a BB when you're going up a staircase isn't fun. So yeah, this is sort of like my urban sort of setup. You know, there's nothing stopping you running this in woodland or wherever, but for me personally, I prefer running this as like an urban setup for me, not so much vehicle based. I find it a bit quite cumbersome getting in and out of vehicles and stuff like that. So yeah, this is for me, this is definitely an urban sort of loadout for me personally. So I could run either this shooter's belt or my other one, or if need be, if I did need to run a lot of kit, I could run this with my webbing set quite easily. I mean, I can show you that now. I just ditch this shooter's belt quick. Again, I won't bother putting the other shooter's belt on because it's literally the same sort of setup, purely that it's got the low level harness underneath it as well. But I can run obviously this in conjunction with my webbing set. So if I ditch that there for a second, I can then chuck my belt kit on. And this would be a fully loaded kit. I can get the wherever that's gone now. Oh, let's try again. There it is. So there we go. So this would be lovely and comfortable. This is the Kit Pimp yoke on my webbing set. Again, lovely and comfortable. Really is nice. As you can see there, I've got this panel clear, so I can access my mags in my webbing set. You know, I can get to all my pouches still. I haven't got lots of stuff around the side here, around the top. I've only got this one pouch here just for accessing bits like critical bits of kit. With the admin panel, there we go. Reference a map, anything like that. You know, this doesn't inhibit me sort of kneeling down or going prone or anything like that. You know, I can take a knee quite comfortably like that. I can go prone if you can see me. So yeah, it's not a problem at all. So it's a good bit of kit. It's a nice setup. It's quite a lot, you know, that would be an awful lot of kit to run in one sort of loadout. Go away, Flynn, away. But yeah, so this is a combination of setups that you can do. You know, obviously if you've got a webbing set, plate carrier, shooter's belt, you know, you've got 3 combinations there that you can try. Again, what I'll do is I'll leave the belt kit on, show you that obviously in conjunction with the chest rig. Now a chest rig, I would run, excuse me, a chest rig, again, like I said earlier, vehicle borne stuff. You can run it on its own, or you can run it in conjunction with your webbing set, or a shooter's belt. Or for like a quick op, if you like, where you're just going out and need minimal kit. I do love this for a recce setup. Again, thumb pouch, access to my mag still, access to all my other pouches which I've got on the setup. And this is just so comfortable. This is lovely and comfortable. You know, everything's there when I need it. Mags are there. Obviously, this panel which does come out, it folds down on itself on the inside there. I can keep maps, any admin bits and bobs I can keep in there, so I can easily get to them as well. So again, there's the chest rig and webbing set loadout. Situations I'd use this in, again, definitely rural, definitely woodland events. I'd run this in an urban environment. Predominantly, this would be sort of like a rural kit for me. If I'm running this, say like a summer event, I could run an awful lot of my kit, my smaller kit, rather than packing it into a pack or a Bergen. I can carry a lot of my stuff on my person, and then sort of like reduce, rather than having to take a Bergen out, I could take like a 60 litre, which has just got like my DOS bag and my shelter system in, and pretty much everything else is contained on me, which is a bit of a benefit, you know, especially summer events as well. You're not going to need the big insulated stuff like that, so you can reduce your sort of main pack load down a few litres smaller. You know, we're going from a 120 litre Bergen for a winter event down to like a 60 litre day pack, if you like. A lot more beneficial for you. You know, a lot easier to conceal it, especially in like rural areas and stuff like that. You know. So that's this is the Warrior 901 chest rig with the webbing combination. And then with the day sack, again, this is why I like running a day sack, which isn't fixed to safety or like an assault panel, something I think people call it. It's purely for that very reason, is if we get into bother or anything like that, or someone needs to get some kit out of my bag, again, it sits lovely and comfortable. It doesn't inhibit me at all, you know. Again, just take a knee, it's no problem there, you know. It's not fixing. If I had this zipped to my plate carrier and I was on my own, for example, I needed to get something out, I needed a radio battery or something had gone wrong with my rifle, I need to get my rifle kit out, I've then got to take my whole plate carrier off to get to my bag, whereas it's just on the shoulder straps. You can ditch the pack, you know. Worst case scenario, I can throw it to someone if they need it, you know. That's the beauty of it having like that. So I'm a firm believer in, you know, utilising these shoulder straps if you've got a day sack or an assault pack, definitely, 100%. And that's pretty common. I mean, my go-to for a rural event or a woodland event, if you like, is the webbing set. I mean, this with an assault pack on, or your Bergen, you know, you can leave this on all day if it needs be. If it's hot weather, you know, you've got plenty of breathability around your body. You've not got panels on your front and your back, so retaining the heat. You know, in hot weather events, you know, the belt kit is absolute go-to. It's probably one of my, if I had to choose one out of all of these that I'd only be able to use again, be it urban, be it rural, it would be the belt kit. It's just formidable. It really is just a formidable bit of kit. You know, I've got my mags, I can have a cook set, I can run rations, I can run first aid, I can run my commander's pouch with my admin. I've got everything I need on me for an event. You know, essentially I could do this with an event, you know, obviously not in the winter months, but I could certainly survive for 24 hours in the field with just my belt kit, if, you know, weather dependent. You know what I mean? Obviously you could do it in the cold and stuff like that, in like a survival situation, but obviously everyone likes to have their comforts, and a nice warm DOS bag and a basher to get underneath. But you know, you can get added bits to this. You can get a poncho roll which sits on the back there, so you can put a basher on there, so you have got a shelter system on you. You know, worst case scenario, you've got a foil blanket in your first aid kit. You can use that to retain some heat if you have to like hunker down for a little while. But yeah, the webbing set for me is probably my favourite loadout option. If you was to start out for in the MISLIM world, I mean, I think a belt kit is a great bit of kit to have in your arsenal for going to events. You know, when people first get into airsoft, an awful lot of the time it's just, oh yeah, straight first you're going to get a plate carrier or a chest rig. You know, I think the webbing set gets overlooked quite a lot, and I think it's a brilliant piece of kit for someone who's getting into MILSIM, because for that very reason, you can keep your ammo in there, you can keep water in there, you can keep your food in there, all your bits and bobs can go on your belt kit. It's easily removable. If you get back to your harbour area and say, oh brilliant, you were done, there you go, belt kit's off. You're not whipping off plate carriers and stuff like that. So for me, the webbing set is a brilliant bit of kit for rural events or even an all-rounder. But to recap, I mean, urban, definitely for that, just for the more protection side of things, going into buildings and stuff like that, in a combination with a shooter's belt. I don't think you can go far wrong with that. You know, that's a very classic setup now in sort of like modern military, is the shooter's belt and the plate carrier, which I do, again, you know, I don't dislike it, but I do prefer running a webbing set, or running a webbing set in conjunction with a chest rig if needed, if I had to carry that additional bit of kit. And it also gives me the combination then of being able to run both, or if I'm out at a fixed fob or a harbour area and we're going out on a quick vehicle patrol, or to assault a building or something, I can leave the belt kit back in my billet and just chuck the chest rig on and go out with the essentials, you know, ammo, some pyro, maybe a bit of water, or maybe run that in conjunction with the day sack to do an assault or something like that. You know, there's loads of options there. You know, I think it's really good, a really good setup that I've got, which I'm really happy with, and it's all quite modular. I can run a webbing, I can run it with the chest rig I can run with a shooter's belt, plate carrier with a shooter's belt, plate carrier with a webbing. I can run the assault pack with all of it. You know, if I'm running a Bergen, the assault pack always goes in the top of the Bergen. So when I get to my harbour area, my main pack, which carries all my equipment in, first thing when I open the lid, assault pack comes out. Any bits of equipment that I need out my Bergen go straight into the assault pack, and that's good to go. And then I sit, I'm off, I'm on the way. So yeah, recapping over all of this, I mean, predominantly a lot of people do have a shooter's belt, a lot of people do have a plate carrier or a chest rig. For me, it's just refining those bits of kit that you've got to suit your needs. You know, not watching things and saying, oh yeah, that looks really cool, especially if you're watching like documentaries and things like that, there's a reason that guy's got that on there, but it might not be right for how you play airsoft or how you do milsim or however it's going to be. It's very, very specific to you and your type of gameplay. So the way you've got something set up, if it looks different to how someone else is, not necessarily it's wrong, it's just how you've got it set up and that's how you're comfortable with it running. It's not wrong, it's just that's your personal preference. So don't be put off by, oh, my kit doesn't look like that. If it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You know, it's not a situation where everybody else needs to know where all your stuff is. You know, it's handy to have it. If you are in a team for a long time and you go to a lot of weekend events and you're very, very much into the immersion side of it, if you're all packing your kit the same way, then that's great. You know, that's brilliant. You know, if Jeff says to you, oh, can you go and get that out of my pack for me, and he packs his the same way you do, straight there and get it out. You know, it's not if he doesn't, if you don't, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? It is a milsim. It is a simulation, a training experience, if you like. So, you know, don't be hung up on, oh, my kit doesn't look like that, or I haven't got that sort of kit, so I can't really do milsim or anything like that. That's absolute rubbish. Please do not think that because you haven't got that sort of kit, you can't do a milsim. You absolutely can. You know, the main thing with milsim, for me, number one, is having fun and putting 110% effort into it. Because if you don't put the effort into a milsim, you won't get out what the organisers have put in to create it for you. You know, they can only take you so far by providing the storyline, providing the props, setting the scene, if you like. It's down to you guys on the ground to make the scene, to make the movie, if you like, of the milsim event itself. And if you're sort of hanging back and not really involved and sort of like just dragging your heels a little bit, it's gonna ruin the experience for you, but it will also ruin the experience for other people around you who are seeing you being like that. So yeah, always bear in mind, you know, give it 110%, and when it comes to your kit, you know, do not worry about it. As long as you've got something that keep you warm, something to keep you dry, something to eat, something to drink, and something to keep you safe, and a first aid kit, a head torch, you know, that's the minimum stuff you'd need, and you can quite easily take part in many events in the UK. Absolutely. So, guys, this is me sort of wrapping up now. I really appreciate you watching. Any questions on any of the kit or anything I've gone through or anything? Oh, one thing I did cock up on, I called my dangler pouch a dump pouch, so I do apologise if anyone's picked up on that. I picked up on it when I rewatched it for editing afterwards, so yeah, sorry. But yeah, any questions you've got about anything I've covered today, please get in touch, please comment, and reach me up on Instagram. It's the Punish one on Instagram. Look up the podcast, November Foxtrot, and obviously the companies that I've mentioned today, JJ's of Brecon, White Sphere Tactical, Mission Tailors, some fantastic bits of kit. Obviously Warrior Assault Systems that we all know, all do good gear. And yeah, like I said, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. Apologies again for such a long gap in between the videos. I've been so busy though. It's been work and stuff, loads of stuff going on, summer holidays, which were fantastic with my kids, and the family all going out doing bits. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video, and hopefully that one's going to be a cheeky overnight somewhere, getting a bash and that all set up, getting some cooking going on, and sort of things about what I do out in the field. So yeah, sort of the next series, a bit more exciting now. The kit is done. Nice one.